Welcome to Cosmic Imprint, a podcast bringing you weekly goodness as the home of lightworkers, new paradigm leaders, sensitive souls, magical beings, spiritual seekers and both spiritual CEOs alike, who are ready to live life in alignment with your own soul's truth and who are here to buck the trends, color outside the lines, thriving in this lifetime's incarnation. Join me each week for conversations about all things human design, weaving my own soul magic where I'll share my intuitive gifts, love of all things metaphysical, manifestation, mindset, fifth dimension, spirit guides, light beings, and beyond. Let's explore your cosmic imprint together. Hello, my dearest Earthling. Thank you so much for tuning into Cosmic Imprint. I am, of course, your host, Rose. If this is your first time listening in, oh my God, thank you for joining me. And if you're a long-time listener, biggest virtual hugs to you through the microphone. Today's episode is super special. It is the first episode in what I plan to be many that is an audio and visual experience. So if you have always wanted to maybe watch one of my episodes rather than listening in, depending on your human design and your greatest alignment and your desire for learning in a way that vibes with you, you can watch this episode as a masterclass that I present face to camera over on YouTube, my YouTube channel, or you can find this episode also in my Facebook group. If you aren't already in there, you can come and join Cosmic Imprint, and I'm going to link up all the links for this episode in the show notes that go with this audio version of this episode. So let's buckle in. Let's get into it. It's a long one, and I hope you love this masterclass that I'm sharing all about your profile and vibing with your soul community as a soulpreneur. I love you so much, and thank you for being here. Hello, beautiful souls. Welcome to my very first audio and visual podcast experience. It's just moved into Sagittarius season, the energy of the cosmos, as I'm recording this episode. And what better season than to experiment, to have fun, to be a bit adventurous with how I show up and share this podcast with you. And I hope you really enjoy the opportunity to choose what is your most aligned way to take on board this beautiful wisdom, this beautiful content that I'm sharing today, this just deep knowledge and embodiment of your unique human design. I'm excited to share with you and see how this episode goes. It's a little bit strange having to focus on a camera for the first time while I'm talking. Obviously, I haven't had to do that, without recording an interview where you've got someone else that you're kind of bouncing things off. So let's just see how this experiment and this new possibility goes. I'm excited to see how this might be an option that I can explore more and more with the podcast and share with you. So today's episode I wanted to share about is diving into your profile from your human design and talking about how as a soulpreneur, this is your essence and your vibration for magnetizing your soul audience. As a soulpreneur, I know that you're boldly stepping out into your magic. You're showing up and sharing your gifts with others. You're creating offers that completely align with your blueprint, using your strategy, using your authority. And you're either already doing the thing, right? Whether that's full-time, whether that's alongside another income stream, and which you guys know I am 100% a stand for if you've been around here long enough. And I actually have a whole podcast episode about those sort of different income streams and how you can support yourself on your soulpreneur journey that you can search for in the back catalogue of podcast episodes. But essentially, you could be in that stage of you're already doing the thing, or you could also be in the stage of the planning and the preparation, that sort of pre-launch or that pre-phase of bringing your dreams into reality. So if you're anything like me, there's a moment when you're in that evolution, that process of either already doing the thing or being in the pre-phase of getting ready to sort of launch or start sharing with the world. And you suddenly realize, oh, fuck, I have to actually start promoting the work that I'm here to do, that my soul came here to do. And you might have suddenly found yourself surrounded by these very strongly strategy focused words like sales, marketing, lead generation, ROI, funnels, conversions, you know, and my personal most like version, the pitch, right? So if that's the case and sales has felt like yuck for your soul, please know you're not alone. First and foremost, you're not alone on that front. And secondly, know that you have this innumerable list of gifts that are inside you that are just waiting to be activated, that are your unique marketing and sales magic when it comes to your soul purpose, to showing up and sharing your soulpreneur work that you came here to do in this lifetime that is completely unique to you. And you know, your human design, your gene keys, your astrology, these are all incredible tools and modalities that I personally, you know, love to dive into and share with you. And that's my calling to share with you, because they help you and empower you to tap into and kind of like lay out that blueprint of your soul, that you can have complete and utter clarity on those unique energetics and the magical powers that you like already have within you, right? And some of you might have complete awareness of those gifts. Like you might go, actually, you know what? Promoting myself comes really easily. Some of you might be going, oh my God, I am never going to get the hang of this. It is awful. I hate it so much. And what you might have actually, and what you do have, I should say, is gifts that are lying there dormant within you. And they're kind of waiting for that divine timing and that divine activation point, which, by the by, I'm kind of hoping that if that's the case for you, this episode can be part of that divine activation of those gifts, so you can start to, you know, show up and embody them in the way that is completely true for your soul. And it might be the case that they're just kind of sitting there dormant, waiting and like bursting to come out and to shine. But there are like those layers and layers and layers of conditioning or deconditioning that needs to happen first in order to allow them to really have that like clear path to be at the most powerful as is aligned for you, right? So today I wanted to share a kind of insight into the way your unique vibe, your unique way of vibing with your soul community by accessing and tapping into your profile as one of the things in your human design that gives you like complete clarity on, you know, your gifts that you've got when it comes to personal branding, sales, magnetizing you towards the correct and aligned soul community, like those epic beings who are like a complete fuck yes for working with you, who are so like, who love to pay you for your soul work, who are, you know, just so deliciously excited to be in your community, in your vibe, in your energy, whether that's, you know, groups, containers, your social media, courses you run, events you host, whatever it is that is your kind of soulpreneur jam. This is, your profile is one of the things. There are so many others, you know, it is just, the well keeps going, right? And that's what I love about the depth to this wisdom when it comes to human design, astrology, gene keys, that, you know, we think we've kind of uncovered a real revelation and a layer, and that expands us into an incredible possibility. And then we really, you know, get to a point where we're able to dive even deeper and even deeper and even deeper. And it keeps on going, right? And I always feel this whenever I tap into someone's chart, their design, their astrology for them, that I feel like I want to share everything I possibly can in that window of time. And one of the things that's been my evolution is to understand that there are layers to it that we explore through and we live the experience of. And it's perfectly okay to just explore one layer at a time, right? You know, and in this case, we're going to explore the layer of how profile feeds into that. But just know that there are endless other things that we can go into within looking at your human design, your astrology, your gene keys, and so on. So that feeling of being magnetized and magnetizing towards you, your soul audience, your soul community, your people who are just so correct and aligned for you. Like, that's the vibe we're here for, right? In Soulpreneur business, that is 100% the vibe we're here for. We are not trying to convince people to work with us. We're not trying to prove that why someone should invest in you, invest in your offer. We're not trying to pitch. We're not trying to hustle. We're not trying to like shoulder charge your way to success, right? Because that's the old paradigm approach to business. That's the like bro marketing approach to business, right? And that's why I know that you're here in this space and, you know, engaging with me in this podcast episode, because that's something that you've either been through and experienced and you've been there and done that, or you've kind of like watched from the sidelines and seen that way and just gone, ooh, I don't even want to go near that because it just is so not me. In any case, there's some reason why your soul has awakened you to the new paradigm possibility of what soul-based business, soulpreneur business and entrepreneurship is, and spiritual business and all of those things. As an intuitive, as a healer, as a mystic, as a seer, as a guide, as a mentor, whatever it is that you feel called to embody in this moment, in this lifetime, in this incarnation, we're here for the 5D reality, right? Like, we're here for the alignment, the ease, the flow, the soul fucking wealth and abundance that comes along with that process of going, hey, this is my vibe. This is unapologetically who I am. And I know that my soul community and my people, my audience, my connections, my clients, whatever it is that you are, you know, seeking in your soul work, right? Whatever it is that you are desiring to call in your soul work, that's the wealth and abundance that comes along with that, because your only job is to emanate your vibe, right? Like your truest soul expression and that soul blueprint you came here with, and to allow others around you to kind of like tap into that, to see that, to witness it, to have awareness of it, and then go, oh my God, you are such a match for my vibration too, right? And we also get the ability to ebb and flow with how our vibration matches with other people, because depending on the point in your journey, depending on the point in someone else's journey, there's going to be vibrations that suddenly like link up and match. And for that period of time, it's an incredible fit. And then everyone evolves, right? And it might mean that that person continues to come with you, or it might mean that they, you know, have some other directional pull that they need to go in. But that's the beauty of the awareness of this, right? Is knowing that everything evolves, everything changes, everything grows and expands. And it is the beautiful possibility of having it all, and all in the now, right? Like, if you desire it, if you dream it, it is already the reality. So the fact that you're here with this episode, hanging out with me, talking about this, means that it's already done, right? Like, you already know that you are magnetizing your soul clients, customers, community, whatever it is, whatever label you want to put on it. And this is just going even deeper into your divine gifts and magic that you've got to share. So what I wanted to sort of cover, I guess, just quickly, is a kind of profile 101, I guess. Let me have a sip of water. Because some of you will be very familiar with the language of, say, human design. And for others of you, you'll be going like, oh my God, what is that profile thing again? I know I've heard someone talk about it and I just don't know where to find it in my chart. So, or you going, I've seen the numbers and I have no idea what profile even means. So you can think of profile as being, I like to describe it as like the outfit your soul chose to come here wearing in this lifetime, right? It's the way you effortlessly show up and embody your unique kind of outfit, really, of who you came here to be in this lifetime. So the incredible thing about profile is there actually isn't anything you need to do about it. Your profile is a part of you. You naturally embody it without even knowing that you necessarily are. And it's just that the more you can be true to your unique energetics, the more your profile kind of, I guess, becomes this powerful beacon about you. So there are always 2 numbers to your profile, and you find your profile information of what profile you are, the numbers, in your human design chart on the information panel. So for example, in the My Body Graph program, there's an actual information panel you can click into, as long as you are in the My Body Graphs version. There's a talking body graph, and you want to be not in that one to access your information panel. In the My Human Design app or online version, you'll have a full information panel that goes through this as well. And actually the app, Jenna's my mentor for human design and all things spiritual life. She's amazing, by the way. If you haven't got your My Human Design app, make sure to do so, because it's a free app and there is so much depth of knowledge and wisdom in there that is just incredible. And there's actually a lot of information about the essence of your profile that is in that app as well. So there's some incredible free resources and tools out there that you can always tap into at any time on my website at rosetotery.com. I've got self-study guides that you can access, you can download to go into your strategy, your authority, and your profile as well. That's got PDF versions, and then also an audio transmission that goes with each of the profile lines. So you get 2 different audios for your profile line, and then you also get an audio recording for your actual profile as well. So there's 3 audio recordings that go with each. And because we are in an Aquarian new paradigm economy, that I have a 100% discount code that you can find on my website as well, because I just feel so called and so strongly resonate with being able to share this information in the way that is accessible to everyone. And then if you desire to go deeper, that's where the self-investment comes, right? Because I think things like strategy, authority, profile, like we all fucking need to know about this as much as we know what our star sign is. You know, it needs to be my vision is that we could have as much conversational, just like openness about something like human design, that it's in the collective consciousness at a level that, you know, people might go, oh, what's your star sign? But equally they might go like, oh, you're a 6-2 projector. Oh, cool. I'm a 3-5 generator, right? Like that's the sort of level of awareness and awakening that I am, you know, calling in my lifetime, certainly. So with the 2, I digress. Let's get back to talking about profile. So with the 2 numbers in your profile, the first number is largely how you view yourself. And then the second number is the more dominant energy of how the world will typically see you. So it's kind of like an internal energy and then an external energy when it comes to this outfit that you've come here with to wear, and this soul's come here to wear in this lifetime. So I'll use mine for an example. I'm a 6-2 profile, and that means that I typically easily see myself and recognize myself for my 6-line energy, the role model energy, the wise old soul on young shoulders, right? While the world around me sees more prominently my 2-line energy. And what I mean by that is that the world around me more easily will recognize that part of me, that energy about me, that more kind of life sort of like, 2 lines I always call life's effortless genius. So it's more like what I just can effortlessly share and talk about and do, that's kind of like breezy, you know, don't even think twice about it. And also that more hermity existence. So 2 lines will often be referred to as the hermit in a lot of OG human design language. But when we're in complete alignment, so this is my kind of take on, you know, profile and how we grow into our human design experiment and our lived experience of it, is that the more we are living our design and our true soul blueprint, the 2 profile lines merge together more and more. And they're far more seamlessly that we embody both energies at the same time. So it becomes less of we see ourselves one way and the world outside sees us another way, but the 2 start to kind of merge more seamlessly. And the more we are living our truth within ourselves, we see ourselves and the world around us sees us as the 2 numbers together. So I often get a question of, what's the deal with the profiles that are kind of two energies that feel really like polar opposites to each other, right? So a really great example of this is a 2-4 profile, that you've got someone who is, both the energy of someone who is a 2 line that is much more introspective, effortlessly knows stuff, is kind of needs their alone time, and then a 4 in their profile, which means they are far more like people, and they're kind of like, what is the deal with having both of those? And I guess what we have to always remember is that the universe gives us these energies or these polarities so that we get to live the experience of being both simultaneously, because that's where the greatest soul growth comes, right? That friendly kind of loving push and pull of energy and dynamics and opportunities to grow and experiences that we go through, like that gives each person individually with their profile, energy that they're working with, that either at times can feel really at odds with each other and other times can feel really like in synchronicity with each other. And that's the own set of life learnings and lived experiences that is really unique to that person. So there are 6 profile lines. Let me just have another sip of water. And each has a component. So a kind of component energy attached to it that is very different to all the others. So first line 1, and you will have only 2 of these in your profile, and there are certain combinations of these that are more common than others, let's just put it that way, so are going to be much more resonant with other people, if that makes sense. So if you have a 1 in your profile, that's the energy of being life's teacher. If you have a 2 in your profile, that's the energy of being kind of the effortless genius. A 3 in your profile is life's roller coaster rider. A 4 in your profile is relationship building, networking. A 5 in your profile is life's problem solver. And then if you have a 6 in your profile, that's the wise sage, the wise old owl. So let's talk about how each of these profile lines, how that gives you a permission slip to show up in the way of vibing with your audience, being this magnetic, incredible being that is able to effortlessly share about your gifts, sell your work, bring in sales, receive abundance in return for your soul gifts, right? So this is about you having an awareness and cultivating your unique vibe with the 2 that are in your profile so that you can show up and shine in your most highest vibration and most magnetic state, right? So we're going to start with 1 and work through to 6. So if you have a 1 in your profile, as I say, that's being an effortless teacher in life. And it also comes with an energy of being someone who is here to investigate, to research the shit out of all your passions and desires and like whatever you get called to research. It also translates into, you might be really pulled to research into who your soul community are, right? Like who it is that you are connecting with, who it is that you are desiring to call in, and doing that real digging deep into who follows you on social media, like who are your soul aligned clients that you're calling in, who is your ideal customer or client. And so things that you might be able to like embrace and just acknowledge about yourself is things like being part of Facebook groups where you know that your soul community are of like your ideal clients and who you're desiring to magnetize towards you. And you're in there essentially to do your research, to allow your 1 line to really shine. So you're seeing what questions they're asking in this group. You're seeing what their problems are that they desire to solve and so on. And that becomes either part of or is the catalyst for your content, your sales, your copywriting, your website, whatever it is that you're sharing with the world. Might even be like your topics for a podcast or for reels that you're going to create or whatever. Like you're using that fuel of that investigation and that deep dive and that knowledge that you've gained so that you can show up and share that information that right? The knowledge that the answers to those questions when it aligns for you. so that magnetizes your people, your clients, your customers, your followers, because they can really feel that powerful energy of you as a soul teacher, because you've given yourself that permission to like go away and do the research, and then like, here you go, here's a question that you might have for me, or here's something I get asked by my audience all the time, or here's a common problem that my ideal customer has or client has or my soul community experiences, and here's the knowledge and the wisdom that I'm imparting on you in my teaching format. So I have a beautiful soul client who does this in a way that I think is fucking genius, that they put up question and answer polls on their Instagram stories, and then when they receive those questions in the question box, they then record themselves speaking to the camera in a reel format for Instagram, and they've got the question box overlaid over the top of their videos. So you can see the question that someone's asked them, and then they are showing up in that incredible teacher energy and dispensing their knowledge and their guidance in that short, easily accessible format. They've got captions over the top of their video. And so I think it's just an absolute genius way of embracing that one-line energy and then using it in a way that is very easy for people to connect to tap into, to feel the vibe of their teacher energy with them. So that's just one example of how someone with a 1 in their profile can embrace that and truly just embody that energy so that their soul community can tap into it and, connect to them and be really drawn and magnetized towards them. Then if you have a 2 in your profile, this is, as I say, life's effortless genius. So if you have a 2 in your profile, you just came here knowing stuff, and you can't explain how or why. Please don't ask anyone with a 2 in their profile to explain how or why they know what they know, but they just know what they know, right? It is just that kind of, I can't explain this, but I know this, and this is my knowledge, and this is my guidance, and this is what I have to impart, and I don't have any facts or learning or necessarily qualifications behind it, but this is it. I know this shit inside out and upside down, and I can just talk about it all day, every day, right? So it can be really hard to navigate this profile line as a soulpreneur, because essentially we've all been conditioned heavily, typically by society and our family and whatever, that it's been very old paradigm, patriarchal, like you have to get degrees and certifications and you have to complete courses, and you have to go through this logical chain of steps to be someone who knows something enough to stand on a platform of sorts, or a stage of sorts, or a social media platform of sorts to impart that knowledge. So when you can embrace your 2-line just like genius and do that inner work to decondition from any stories that you might have had about self-worth, who am I to share this, etc., 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 that's a really powerful thing to share with others and to empower them with, because at the end of the day, there are so many fucking people who are here with a 2-line in their profile as well, and by you showing up and shining your light unapologetically, and also potentially speaking to the fact that, this is part of your story, this is part of your journey, that you just know things and can't explain why, in turn, you're going to be drawing in the soul clients, the soul community, the people who are just so fucking aligned for you, because they deeply resonate with that part of you and that knowledge that you just so effortlessly can share, and oftentimes in a way that is far more relatable and accessible and easy to connect with than if you're just kind of like regurgitating a textbook, right? So it's a very much a profile line to get comfortable with just showing up and shining your light anyway, like regardless of what you might have been told. And the other thing to know about a 2-line is that it's the hermity side, right? Like it needs time. You will need time for solitude, for withdrawing into your own energy, into your own kind of safe space. And this is also a superpower to own within yourself and to kind of be unapologetic about, because when you can just be that version of you and love on that side of you and kind of be like open about it, right? Not try and like hide it as if it's something negative. That becomes so much more juicy and magnetic. And to all those people who also desire to be seen, to be witnessed, to be appreciated for their magic, who also have this need within them to withdraw, to take a break, to disappear for a while, to kind of have lots of alone time. And also they need someone like you to give them that permission to shed the deconditioning that tells them that it's not okay to do that, that you can't be successful if you do that, that you have to be on all the time and available all the time, right? Like there are so many layers to it. And one of the things I guess that because this is in my profile, right? So one of the things that I do is a kind of like way of giving my subconscious mind the proof that there are like quite literally billions of people that need this support and permission is all you need to do is go on Instagram and look up the hashtag introvert problems, and you'll see that there are like billions of people around the world who are seeking someone to be that example of how to use this superpower of needing alone time, needing to be a bit more withdrawn, pulsing on and off in terms of your, you know, being out in the world, talking public, you know, like for this, for example, of me showing up and sharing a podcast episode, and then having times when I need to completely withdraw and kind of like take a complete break. And that's equally successful and abundant and fucking amazing as someone who is maybe like a generator, who is like here to be like on all the time and like can show up every single day on their stories or on a live without fail, because they have got a completely different and unique energetic expression, you know, and they might have a profile that is like a 3-5 profile, for example, and they just are like, nope, I'm here every day sharing my life experiences, sharing about what I've been through, sharing my, you know, ups and downs, all of that. With a 2 in your profile, it's a very, very different energetic expression. And the more you can embody that and embrace that, that's going to magnetize the people who just go see that and go, oh my fucking God, you are the person I've been waiting for, right? Like you are the permission slip I've been waiting for, and I can't fucking wait to come and work with you, right? So these are the kind of things that we can embrace. So let's talk about 3 lines now, 3-line profile, since I've just mentioned it. So this is what I lovingly call life's roller coaster rider. Oh, nice drink of water. Just so I can keep talking. So with a 3 in your profile, you're here with that unique soul essence that is all about going through the shit that makes you stronger. Like this is someone who is here with a soul path and a soul journey that is like, I'm here to ride the roller coaster, to go through the ups and downs, to just enter into lots of different life experiences and come out the other side wiser, more knowledgeable, more evolved, more, you know, a transformed person, whatever the case may be. And you only gain that knowledge through the lived experience with a 3 in your profile. So it's a path that is so fucking deeply relatable to so many people. And it's really important to become comfortable with, because the more you're open to kind of just flowing with your life experience and embracing the mess that might come with that, that's your unique message to vibe and to share and to put out that vibration that others can just so intimately resonate with, regardless of whether they're a 3-line or not, right? Because just because you are let's say a 5-1 profile, for example, does not mean you haven't had ups and downs and challenges and obstacles and shit go wrong, right? So someone with a 3 in their profile is pretty much here to like relate to the entire fucking world around them on a really deep way. So a 3 in your profile gives you that ability and that beautiful gift of being able to share your unique message, to share your stories, to share the like, here's what I went through, here's what I learned, here's the ups and downs, here's what emotions I went through. Here's what I look back on now and can see that if I'd done something different, this might have been the outcome, but I've learned and I've grown, and here's the soul growth and the message and the wisdom that I've gained as part of that process. Or even like just the, hey, this is my life. This is what I love. This is what I resonate with, all of that. Like a 3 in your profile is very much able to have a resonance with everyone around them, and also to kind of like unapologetically go, I'm here, this is me, this is the shit I've been through. If you vibe with me, like come sit in my corner and let's chat, right? So having a 3 in your profile is like the most amazing sales and marketing gift, because you're just putting out that story and sharing that story, and there will be so many people who are drawn to that and magnetized to that because they can resonate with an element of what you've gone through. And something to understand, I guess, just as a note about living with a 3 line in your profile, is to have the awareness that this is you, and then to go into everything with kind of that openness and awareness that everything in life is a potential experience for soul growth. So the less you kind of grip and try and control, the more blissful the experience is, right? And I say that in the sense of, obviously there are so many other layers to it. One major one being, for example, if you have emotional authority and you have a 3 in your profile, right? That knowing that you've got these 2 things that are very much living life with ups and downs, having awareness of that just suddenly takes it from being like a shock and a, oh my God, what the fuck, this went wrong, that went wrong, and lowering your vibration to going, actually, you know what? Like, every day is a new adventure. Like, let's jump on the roller coaster. I've got my backpack full of life experience, and let's go and see where today's roller coaster takes me. And if you can go into that with that kind of openness and that joyfulness, and that, that being that person who can kind of get to the end of the day and go like, whew, that was an adventure. Like, wow, was not expecting that, like, if you can have that playfulness about it, it becomes so much more powerful for you, rather than judging yourself, wondering why shit didn't go right, wondering why, you started out your day with this expectation and the day turned into something completely different, right? That's very 3-line profile life existence. So, it's just a note that when you have a 3 in your profile, and that's sometimes where the most powerful thing can kind of come in terms of sales and marketing, and like magnetizing your ideal soul people towards you. Because if you can take other people on that journey without self-judgment, without doubt, without like, going, who am I to do this thing? Am I worthy? Like all of that. If you can just enter into it and take people with you, that's so fucking relatable and resonant, and people will just can't get enough of it, right? It's almost like, I don't want to compare it to reality TV, but it's got that essence about it, that like the ups and the downs are what people are there for, right alongside you and with you, and appreciate so much when you have the strength to be able to maybe not speak to it right as you're going through it if you're not that comfortable, but to be able to then, package it up and talk about it as, this is the wisdom I gained, this is the growth, this is the soul expansion, right? We can always look at it through that lens of, how did I grow? How did I improve? How did I expand? All of those beautiful things that other people are looking for support with as well in their own life, and the permission slips for them to be able to do the same, right? You lead, you pave the way, and others will follow. So it was a bit of a riff on 3 lines, but I wanted to focus on that a lot because, as I say, it is so fucking resonant to so many people. And there are like, most people in the world have a 3 in their profile, or if they don't have a 3 in their profile, they are, let's say, for example, people who have a 6 in their profile, but they are in the phase of life when they're going through their first 30 years when it's living life as a 3 line, right? So you've got an incredible groundswell of people who essentially have at some point in time lived life as a 3 line. So, and if you have no idea what I'm talking about, that's okay, because I'm going to touch on 6 line profiles in a minute. So 4 lines life's relationship builders, networkers, people. If you have a 4 in your profile, you are a natural at connecting with others, networking, building bonds, making relationships, cultivating relationships, nurturing relationships. And it's kind of like I guess for a lot of entrepreneurs or soulpreneurs, it's a very powerful gift when they've got a 4 line in their profile. And it's not to say that if you don't have a 4 line, you can't embody this essence. I'm just saying that if you don't have a 4 in your profile and you wonder why someone that you maybe look up to or is a contemporary of yours, and you're wondering like, how do they just seem to be able to like get it with people, right? Like they just have got this indescribable thing when it comes to building and nurturing and like expanding a community. If you can find out what their profile is, like I would guarantee there's a 4 in there somewhere. So as I say, it's not to say that you don't have this gift if you don't have a 4 line. I'm just going to talk about like what your kind of like, I guess, essence is if you do have a 4 line. So everything comes to you in life through community or your circle, so to speak. So it's really important for you to embrace having a 4 line as a soulpreneur, because the more you can love on and nourish those people who are already in your world, it like supercharges everything, right? Like it clears the path and the energy for others to be able to find you and to be magnetized towards you in that kind of 6 degrees of separation kind of way, right? Like your dream clients, customers, community, audience, connections, whatever the case may be, are people who are so fucking perfect for you, are already connected to the people you are connected to. So if you could visualize like the biggest world encompassing spider web of 6 degrees of separation, like that within your, you know, the 6 people that you spend the most time with, their connections and their connections and their connections, like it spider webs out, right? And that is how you thrive and show up and share your magic at the best, when you know that you're nurturing that circle that you are already within, because you can have complete trust and faith that everyone you are here to connect to in this lifetime, there is already some tangible, like silken universal thread there. So it's really empowering for people with a 4 in their profile to already know this, or to embrace this and to embody this, because there can be that pressure as a soulpreneur and in the online space, right? That people, the bro marketing, right? Like focuses on like metrics of growth and follower numbers and like, you know, going viral and shit like that. And that is not for a 4 line. Going viral is not a 4 lines mode of success, basically, because your greatest soul purpose and gifts is to nourish that smaller community. And by smaller community, I'm not saying that you cannot have massive expansion. What I'm saying is that your way of, you know, essentially tapping into that abundance and massive growth and expansion in your soulpreneur business, with your sales, with your marketing, with your social media followings, whatever it might be, is from that process of like someone who is already in your community finds like something really resonant that you've shared, you know, maybe an IG live or a piece of content that you've shared that is a shareable, you know, set of slides or something like that on Instagram. They share it to their stories, someone in their audience sees it and they pick it up and they share it, right? That's the way that it goes. Not like the Instagram algorithm randomly picking your piece of content and putting it on the explore page, because in that case, it's like someone completely unconnected to you is just like plonking it over here in a realm that has no connection to your energetics and your essence. But when it goes that way of like expanding out from who's already in your audience, that is like the 4 line profile, golden fucking zone. So anything that you can do that is going to facilitate that like process of encouraging people that if they resonate with your work, to share it with someone or to share it in their profile, or, I see a lot of, entrepreneurs these days, if they're hosting a free masterclass, for example, that they're providing like a series of graphics that they say, hey, if you're coming to my masterclass, take this, screenshot it, share it to your stories, tag me in it. All of that sort of work is like perfect for a 4 if you have a 4 in your profile, because that means that you are growing and expanding your community in a way that is already loving on and nourishing and nurturing the community that you've already got. And that becomes so much more magnetic and powerful because they already feel your vibe, right? Like the people that are connected to you by these little like universal silken threads that you can't even see, they're already feeling your vibe through that kind of like beautiful universe process of law of attraction and all of those universal laws. Like they're already there. So if you can get yourself into that mindset and that state of going, everyone everyone I'm here to speak to and share with and teach and coach and whatever in this lifetime, I am already connected to. That's just the timing is going to be whenever the right timing is for them to come into my realm. That's really powerful for you and becomes so incredible for you to activate in your business so that you can, show up for those people who are just so fucking, yours, and they will want to support you because that's the 4-line gift, right? That, the people who are in your world are just going to like love on you so hard as well that they can't wait to share what you've got and what you're about. So it's having a lot of trust and faith that that's your path and that's your magic. I think that's all I want to say about 4 lines for now, because otherwise we're going to be here all day, because I can talk about all of these profiles all day. So if you have a 5 in your profile, you are life's problem solver. And what I mean by that is that you are someone who, let's just backpedal for a second and go, okay, 4-line profile, you're someone who's here to nourish on your community, those one-on-ones, the intimate, deep bonds and connections. If you have a 5 in your profile, you are here to serve the masses. So there's a different energy about someone with a 5 in their profile, that they are here to potentially go viral. They are here to be someone whose message is much more designed for the wider world, the wider community, the wider audience, whatever that might be, that's resonant for them. But someone with a 5 in their profile is always going to be seen by others as someone who is there to help, who can help them, who can potentially solve their problems for them, who can guide them, who can mentor them, who can coach them, who can see them clearly, right? So if you have a 5 in your profile, one of the most important things to know is that when you're showing up in your highest vibration, right, it is most commonly going to be the profile that other people project onto, because they sense that essence about you that, oh my God, this person's here to save the day for me, right? Like it's got big kind of like Marvel superhero energy about it. It's like, oh my God, this person, this vibe, I love it. You're here. Here's all my problems that I'm projecting onto you. So it might be that your experience is that, you have the kind of situation where people show up in your DMs with all their problems and expect you to just like solve them, even though that's not your work, even though that's not what you do, even though that's not what you offer, right? Like, and it might not even be something you can help them with, because it might be all their own internal self-development work that they need to go away and work on, right? So that's just something, I guess, like if you have a 5 in your profile, to understand that, because that can really empower you to know how to set those beautiful, loving, supportive and nourishing boundaries with your community, with your people, because you are naturally going to appeal to a really wide audience and community, and having boundaries in place is going to be vitally important so that you can make sure that when you show up and share your magic and share your gifts, you have those energetic boundaries in place to go, here's what I am offering, here's my way you can work with me, here's my hours that I work in a week, here's my packages that are currently available, my courses that are available, whatever the case may be, and I don't do coaching in my DMs, for example. Like having those sorts of things. I've seen clients of mine who have a 5 in their profile actually create like a highlight on their Instagram stories, Instagram page, for example, where they save a highlight that is like, these are the boundaries, right? And they have like just a story, blank screen where they've just typed out like, here's the boundaries. If you want to come to my space, here's my boundaries. This is what I am for. This is what I don't do. So please don't overstep my boundaries, right? Like there's all these things that we can do that make sure that we, you know, if you have a 5 in your profile, you're showing up in your power every day, and you've got those things in place in advance so that people can know just straight away, like, oh, okay, this is what this person's about. And I'm either fully fucking magnetized towards them because they are my person, or if it's not quite a right fit, then they can choose to go elsewhere. And that's the most perfect fucking thing, right? Because we are here to magnetize the people who are our people, who are like the full body fuck yes, not the people that we have to convince, that we have to like, you know, lay down the law with, all of these things, right? So another thing that I just will touch on about boundaries with the 5 in your profile is I have a beautiful client who is a 5-1 profile and is someone who has struggled in their growth of their soulpreneur business, not struggling from the lack of success, of the not having the boundaries about how many readings they're going to give a week, how much time they are going to give to their business a week, because the 5 line is just wanting to give and give and give and help others and empower others and solve the problems for others. And that boundary wasn't set in place early in their business for them to be able to say, nope, I am not here to work more than 20 hours a week doing readings, or I am not here to deliver more than 4 readings a month, or I am not here to work with more than 2 one-on-one clients at the same time, right? So it's having those self-set and enforced boundaries around what does your energetic capacity allow you to show up with at your, you know, brightest and greatest and most powerful, and what is the tipping point that even though people might be coming calling going, oh my God, I want to book in with you, when can I book in with you, blah, 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 not giving into that just because the demand is there, because at the end of the day, you're not here to serve every single person on the planet, right? Like, even though you might feel like you need to, and there might be that feeling of like, oh my God, I am letting people down, I'm disappointing them, I have to apologize, I have to, you know, blah, blah, blah. That's not the case. Like with a 5 in your profile, you do have a fucking effortless gift for helping others, for supporting others, for embracing your whole vibe that is like community, that is, you know, wider network oriented, and kind of standing strong in that to go, hey, here's my way that I know I can help the most people in the most aligned fucking way for me. And knowing that your magic will easily resonate with an incredibly wide variety of people from all walks of life. So the more you can set your boundaries, shine brightly, do your thing, be fucking unapologetic about your boundaries as well, the more you are going to be so juicy and magnetic and, you know, just like draw in those people who vibe with that. They might have gone through similar experiences, or they might need to hear that permission slip of, oh my God, it's okay to say no. What? Like, right? Like, you know, all of those people out there who maybe have struggled to set boundaries in their life, who have struggled with something and don't know how to even make sense of it, you know, have struggled with that thing of like, what the fuck? I go to the supermarket just minding my own business, and somehow I always end up having to help someone or solve someone's problem, or some shit goes on in the car park that I suddenly am like in the middle of and didn't know why, right? Like that's the journey of living with a 5 in your profile. So it's important to know, important to embrace, and to know as well that it is a powerful fucking piece of your magic that is your unique kind of vibe for your audience to connect to, for your perfect soul clients, customers, everyone to connect to. That's a big part of what you're here to show up and share. So now that we've covered those, we are on to our final profile line, our 6 line. So if you have a 6 in your profile, this is the one I was mentioning before, that if you didn't know what I was talking about living life as a 3 line and a 6 line, blah, blah, blah. Don't worry, I'm going to cover that now. So if you have a 6 in your profile, it is a completely unique soul path and experience compared to any of the other profile lines. So you came here with an old soul, basically from day one, right? Like you were old before your years. You were, sorry, I should say wise before your years, not old, but essentially you might have always had that nagging sensation of like, I've been here before, I've been around the block several times. You just have that essence of like, I'm a role model. I have to show up in the way that is the most responsible version. And I'm laughing as I say this because I have a 6 in my profile. So I was the kid who was always very dutiful, studious, responsible, was kind of like picking up after my parents, so to speak, and to some extent still do. But I have a great deal more awareness of it now in my life. So I also know my boundaries. But just to explain it very quickly, if you have a 6 in your profile, life happens in 3 distinct stages, and no other profile line does this. So it's a very fucking unique experience, and one that can be really empowering to know about yourself if you're newer to human design. So the first 30 years of your life, you live life as a 3 line rather than a 6 line. You've got the energy of the role model, wise old soul, but your actual lived experience is the 3 line, the ups and downs, the riding the roller coaster, the going through all these different experiences and the shit that makes you stronger, right? So for example, like just a quick one to, I guess, make note of is if you are a 6-3, an example is that up until about the age of 30, round about the time of your Saturn return, you will have basically been living life as a 3-3, a 3-3. So there will have been like innumerable instances of like shit going wrong, ups and downs, all this crazy stuff happening in life. And then once you kind of go past that Saturn return, like it's not a precise situation. Like it's not like one night you suddenly, one morning you suddenly wake up and you're a 6. There's kind of a transition phase. And I know for me, like my transition to my 6 line probably happened closer to around about 34, 35 in my life. Like it wasn't bang on 30 years old. Still had a few more ups and downs to go. So then once you do get to that mid phase of life, it's from around about your Saturn return to your Chiron return. So it's between about the ages of 30 and 50. Then you move into your 6 line, but it is a 6 line that is much more of an introspective existence. So it's like the best way I can describe it is going from being in my experience, like the party girl who was out all night till fucking 5, 6 a.m. dancing in nightclubs and fucking hammered, to now being sober for the past 4 years and like in bed by 8 p.m. and fucking so happy with it. And like a complete, like, I feel like my life is of who I was before that transition to now. It's like I can't even really still wrap my head around how different my life experiences have been. But that's the thing, right? It's far more introspective, far more, I won't say introverted, but it is a common term for it is called going on the roof, being up on the roof. So it's like if you can imagine the energy of being happy to sort of withdraw from the world around you and kind of observe and watch the world around you and be far more in that wise old soul, just kind of like quietly observing what's going on around you, taking on board the sort of like the learnings and the lessons that you can see others going through. And then after your Chiron return, after about 50 years old, it's when you kind of come down off the roof and you're far more, I guess, embodied in your old soul, role model kind of energy and feel much more called to be out and in the world around you and kind of like back, kind of, I guess, like almost like mingling back on the street with everyone energetically. So it's a really interesting, I guess, like evolution and transformation that happens over your lifetime as a sixth line. And depending on what stage you're in, it really is powerful to know that and to embrace that about you, because you do have immense wisdom that is already there to share with others and to empower others with. But if you're in that first 30 years of your existence and you're showing up as a soulpreneur and you're building, growing your soul work, it's understanding that actually you've still got some ups and downs to go. So rather than like judging yourself or going like, oh, fuck, I'm the sixth line, I'm supposed to be this role model, but like all this shit is like going on in my life, just to understand that that's part of the journey for you. And in that kind of phase where you really step into the sixth line energy from kind of around about 30 years onwards, there will be that process of going like, okay, so these clusterfucks that went on in my life, I've actually learned the lessons, and I've got the soul growth, and I've got the expansion and the transformation. I've been the caterpillar goo in the chrysalis more times than I can ever imagine, but I've come out the other side a butterfly, and, now I'm spreading my wings, and I'm, all of that soul growth and evolution journey. And I guess at the same time, knowing that you do have immense wisdom that is very unique and very old soul, very wise. So kind of own that. Like, I think sometimes as a sixth line, I know for myself, I've really doubted myself at certain points in time. Again, being a 6/2, it's like the two energies of like being that kind of effortless genius and just knowing stuff, and then also being like this wise old soul, like the two put together. I'm like, who the fuck am I to like be this person? Who the fuck am I to share this knowledge? Who am I to be this, at this age, right? So yeah, it can be a bit of a one to do a lot of subconscious work around stepping into your power, owning your power, being safe to take up space, and to honor that it's okay to be a little bit detached from the world around you, right? Because especially if you're in that mid phase of like going up on the roof and just being kind of like a bit more like stand back, watch what's going on, observe. It's okay. It's okay to have been through the ups and downs as well. No one is judging you but yourself for the stuff that you maybe have gone through in life that didn't work out or was a wild time. So it's kind of also, I guess, the one of the things that, and you guys will have heard me, if you've been on this podcast long enough, you will have heard me talk about this, that one of the things to empower yourself with is to know that it's okay to open up and share about the ups and downs, because the role model side, the wise old owl side, just wants to like provide the perfectly packaged dollop of wisdom. And there will be a lot of seemingly trivial stuff or like chaotic stuff from your life or the ups and downs in your life that you will feel like, oh, this is unimportant. No one fucking cares. Why would anyone want to listen to this? Or equally, no, I need to keep that part of me like hidden away and packaged away, and like that's not me anymore. So I'm going to like forget about it and like not ever mention it and all of those sorts of things. But you need to know that by actually showing up and sharing that, people are so pulled towards you and magnetized towards your vibe, because they, there will be people out there that you couldn't even have imagined who will resonate with what you have to share on some level, because those very human and lived experiences, a little bit, as I touched on with the 3-line essence, is that, those lived experiences are what you are here to gain your wisdom from and deepen your wisdom by going through, because you might have already had that wisdom and knowledge and just depth of understanding before you went through the experience, but going through the experience made it gave it more depth for you to be able to then impart that wisdom or to share that wisdom or to be able to speak to resonate with a lot of different people, right? Because you've had that depth and breadth of soul growth and you've also been through the dark night of the soul, right? Like possibly many times, and come out the other side going, hey, you know, it's okay. I have had this transformation, and this is what I'm here to share. And you know that the people who are just so your people, like if you've got a 6 in your profile, like you really have to stand strong in knowing that your soul people are going to resonate really deeply with you on that level of wisdom. And probably, like, I guess, just to touch on like social media and marketing and sales and things like that, is that with a 6 in your profile, you might be called far more towards, I don't want to say like the serious stuff, because that's not really the right label, but what's the way I can describe this? I'll just speak to my experience, right? Fucking love Instagram, love it, bee's knees, like that is my favorite platform of choice, right? However, I cannot handle reels, cannot handle that whole chaotic, fast, snappy, 2 seconds and it's gone, jumpy, dancey, like I just can't be bothered with it, right? And that's probably the best way I can describe my 6-2 profile energy coming through in that moment, because I look at it and I go, that's great for someone else. It is so not for me, right? And I think that when you can embrace your 6-line essence, you will find that there will be so many other people who have got that essence about them too, that are going to be magnetized to you, that are going to be drawn to you, that are going to be like, oh, thank fucking God this person doesn't do that shit. Like, you know, thank fucking God they think the way I do too, right? And that's something that I guess, just to share a little story about that, is that when I first launched my human design reader training, and this was back in January this year, so it's nearly a year ago. And the first round of incredible people, shout out to all my ascenders that are listening in on this episode. The first round, we did our kind of like first call, because at that time, the first iteration of it was a live program, and now it's a self-study passive revenue program. And the first call we had, and I was diving into everybody's individual human designs for the intimate group that we had, it was all 6-2 profiles except for one person. And we were just kind of like laughing so hard about it, because it was like there was a complete variety of different energy types there, and there was a heavy weight towards projectors for a start. But yeah, we were just like, it was so fascinating to me, because I was like, oh my God, I've just, without even knowing and without even trying and without even being conscious of it really, I've just magnetized this massive group of 6-2 profile people towards me. And that's what I want to kind of impart with this, is that, you know, those people, just, I vibe so much with them. They are my soul community. They are, you know, we just get each other on such that deep resonant level that, you know, these are people that are going to be in my community and in my life for a really long time. And I appreciate following them as much as, you know, I hope they appreciate and follow me, right? So when we can show up as this most aligned and highest vibration of ourselves, when we can embrace our profile just so completely thoroughly and just stand in our power, it is just the most incredible thing that really vibrates out and resonates out into the world around us. And this is what I guess the essence of showing up in your soulpreneur genius, your soulpreneur magic, and knowing unapologetically that these are the energies and the vibrations and the perfectly aligned as fuck people that are epic beings that are coming into your world, that are just absolutely vibing with you. And it is absolutely not to say that, you know, for example, if you are a 3-5 profile, that you can only work with people who have a 3-5 profile, right? Like, that is not what I'm saying at all. What I'm saying is that by you standing strong in your essence, you are going to be magnetizing people who resonate with your wider vibration. So there are going to be people that, you know, are magnetized to you that can resonate with your stories, with your gifts, with your, you know, sacral, if you're a generator or a mani-gen, for example, like that sacral vibration that they can just so effortlessly feel and sense about you and like be drawn into your world, right? And equally, if you're a projector or a manifestor or a reflector, you know, like you have that just like something about you that people can sense when you are in your highest vibration and you are sharing your magic and you are showing up like in your soul truth, that they just can sense about you. And it's like the spidey senses start tingling and someone just goes, oh my God, this person, like I can just feel that they are so deeply, you know, what I'm about as well, or where I desire to be. I can see that they're the, you know, the right match for me. And that's the key to it all, really, isn't it? That we're not trying to convince anyone to work with us. We're not trying to outcompete, you know, someone who is our contemporary. Like there is a seat at the table for everyone. And that is something that I have been embracing so much, you know, in my own journey, in deconditioning from my own life, where I was heavily conditioned to believe that if someone else is already doing it, like that spot is taken. Like that was a story I had like drummed into me from day one, that I could never be what somebody else already was, that I could never compete with someone who was already doing it. Like that if they were already doing it, they were already successful. Like that was it. The whole piece of the pie was with them. And who are you to try and, you know, compete with that? So you might as well not bother, right? Like that was my fucking upbringing and conditioning. Like, don't bother, go do something else, go get a safe job, go get the degree that leads to a steady form of employment and, you know, destroys your soul quietly while you're sitting in a cubicle facing a computer screen. So these are things that I just want to say that, you know, there is never a black and white. There is never a fix this one thing or the other. And we live in a both and universe. I wanted to make sure I said that right. So what that means is that we can both have things. We can have this and the other thing. We can be both successful. You and the millions and billions of other people in this world who are showing up and sharing their soul purpose, like we all came here with a completely unique set of soul gifts and a soul blueprint. And the way I do things is completely unique to someone else who is a mentor in human design and gene keys and astrology. And I fucking embrace that and I love it. And I just am so here for both and, right? Like for all of us to be sitting at this giant fucking table, exchanging, sharing, supporting all of those beautiful interconnected energies, because we need that. Like the new paradigm of Soulpreneur business absolutely needs everyone to be stepping into their power and embodying that and understanding that we all get to come here and shine. So that was a transmission. Let's just say that. I hope you have enjoyed this episode. I really wanted to show up and share something that was just super fucking powerful for this first experience of recording both audio and visual. I truly hope you have loved and enjoyed and had a million aha moments during this transmission. I just am so grateful, so deeply grateful for you. And really always feel incredibly privileged and honored when I, know that a podcast episode has gone out and it's resonated, even just for one person, like hearing that feedback from someone in my DMs or by email that, someone has really resonated so deeply, or it's been transformational for them just listening to one of my podcast episodes. Like that just is, for my little undefined mental projector heart, that truly is just so fucking mind-blowing. And as I say, with that exactly what I was saying, that conditioning about like, who are you to be this person? like, it still blows me away. Even though I've done that inner work, I've done the subconscious work, and I continue to do, you know, the mindset work around it, it really truly does blow me away. And so I just thank you so much, as always, for being here, for tuning in, for watching along. If you've been here for the whole episode, thank you, and I cannot wait to see you on the next episode.